Good evening, guys. It's me again for a second episode today. It's quite late now. It's just before 10 p.m. Lights are off for the fishes. And the question I want to address on this episode is, should I go to university if I want to start my own business? And did education play an important role in my entrepreneurial career? And I think those are excellent questions. They've come up quite a lot of times, so I wanted to address that. So let me give you a bit of a story about my experience with school and then later with university. So when I was very young, I was a really good student. I was always top of the class. I was ambitious to get good grades. And then I remember this point, I think it was around when I was 13 years old. I had my first crush on a girl, and I just kind of stopped. I lost my interest in my homework, in studying, and in school in general. And my grades went from A's and B's, and they slipped to like C's and D's. And I almost failed a few classes too. And I kind of kept that up till I finally graduated high school with my international baccalaureate diploma. I barely got that. I barely graduated high school, really. I stopped studying. I kind of just used my given intelligence to just get by without doing anything. And so my prospects for university weren't very good because the system is all grades based. I remember I got my diploma and my score was so low that I couldn't get into the university that I wanted to go to in the UK, and it wasn't even a very good one. It was the University of Surrey. It's like somewhere ranked in the middle. I was so confused. I was like, oh my God, I didn't know what's gonna happen with my future. I had no idea. And my mom called and she kind of begged them, and somehow she worked her magic and she convinced them to accept me. So people often ask me like, what did I study? And I typically try to avoid that question, and for I think a good reason, because when you hear what I studied for my undergraduate and my master's program, it logically sounds like a recipe for entrepreneurial success, especially in regards to the type of company I have managed to build, which is an internet marketing company. The reason I kind of hesitate is, in short, I will get into more detail. In short, I didn't learn anything of value, anything applicable during my 4 years at university. I didn't learn anything. It was all just theory. I was learning accounting. I never really understood what a balance sheet is. I still don't. Anyway, I digress. So I so desperately wanted to be an entrepreneur that I looked for a course that could maybe teach me or show me the way to how to be an entrepreneur. I didn't know that there's no such thing, that the only way to learn is by doing. You only become an entrepreneur once you start executing and building something of value to another human being or many. So I found a course at the University of Surrey which was called Entrepreneurship in Technology. And I was like, yes, this is it. It was a brand new course, first of its kind in the UK. And I thought this was my key to success. I thought this was the course that will teach me how to get over my fears and everything holding me back from actually being an entrepreneur and actually taking action and building all the dumb ideas I had in my head back then. But that course no longer exists. I think they shut it down a year after I graduated. Out of the 50 people in my class, I am the only person who went on to set up his own company. I mean, if that doesn't say it, then I don't know what does. But the course was an experiment, but like any course, management, marketing, or whatever, I don't feel that university can add any value to the future of your entrepreneurial career that justifies the 3 to 5 or even more years spent at school. If you spent those years trying and doing and setting up and failing and setting up again, you will be in those 5 years. I built this company in just over 5 years. Think of that. But I don't at the same time think not going to university is a good idea in all cases. I will get into that later in this video. I will go on, and I stand by this. I will say that university will likely lessen your chances of becoming an entrepreneur and setting up your own business. The reason I say this is because you fill your head with so many things that you will never use, and you are led to believe, because of the way the education is structured by the learning, the studying, and then the exams, you are led to believe that you need to know all of these things in order to be successful, when that is not the case. Believe me, I almost failed accounting at university, and I still, to this day, I don't really know what a balance sheet is. I don't need to know. You, as an entrepreneur, you get people who are experts in that to take care of that for you. And that's I think the problem with university, is that it creates this illusion of what it is to run a business, when in fact, running a business is based on delegating. It's based on leadership. It's based on taking action, on being bold, not being afraid. And university, I feel, instills fear and a lot of questions, gives you more questions than answers. That's, I think, a good way to put it. I felt way more confused when I graduated than before, because I was like, oh my God, I don't understand accounting. How the hell am I supposed to run a company? Because I was led to believe that I had to know accounting in order to be able to run a company, which is bullshit. It's kind of a funny story how I went on to do my master's. I graduated from the University of Surrey. I took a trip up north to Scotland to the University of St. Andrews, a much better school. I went to visit a good friend of mine there. We partied together for a few days, and I ended up liking it so much there. It's such a cool place. Really worth a visit if you've never been. St. Andrews. I liked it so much that, hungover, I went and I applied for a course there. It was something like modern media management or some bullshit. And later on in that summer, I was traveling in the US. I was in New York, and I got an email from the University of St. Andrews saying, sorry, Mr. Gryn, we couldn't accept you on the course you wanted, the modern media management, but we have a space free for you on the Masters in Marketing course. And I was like, wait a sec, what is this? Oh yeah, I applied when I was not so sober. So my father always wanted me to do my master's, so I kind of said, you know what, it's only 1 year, why not? So that's how I went on to do my master's in marketing. So now you see, when someone asks me, Rob, what did you study? And I say, well, I did my undergrad in entrepreneurship and technology and my master's in marketing, and now I have a very successful internet marketing technology company. It misleads the person to automatically assume that university was sort of the source of my success, when in fact, nothing. And honestly, I don't say this because, university was just a bad time. I had a great time, and I don't regret the time. But it's just, it's an illusion that it can help you become an entrepreneur, to do the things that you really want to do. University gears you to working for someone, for working for a corporation. But for me, I'd like to say something more positive, I guess, about university. I was always an introvert. Like, I've said it a lot, and I'm not ashamed of it, because it's just the way it was. I had to put a lot of work into becoming able and comfortable to socialize with people. As weird as that might sound to some of you, it was so hard for me to talk to strangers. So going to university, leaving home for the first time and kind of figuring out life on my own was a very important experience for me, where I kind of grew out of being a teenager into becoming sort of a man, and learning how to take care of myself, how to talk to strangers, how to meet people, how to just kind of be a functioning part of society instead of an awkward teenager who's just angry and scared. So in that regard, university was really important for me. But if you ask me the question, should I go to university if I want to start my own business? Probably not, but maybe yes. Because I'm going to say no, because the time allocated to university and the applicable knowledge that you will get back is very, very small. And like I said before, it may even take you a step back in terms of creating more fear, this illusion that it's something very, very difficult, when in fact it really is not. But maybe yes, because maybe like me, you're lacking very important skills like communications, like being able to socialize. Like I'm still learning day to day, like how to be a more kind of comfortable person in certain social situations. So you got to kind of ask yourself, what stage are you at? What do you want to get out of it? If you think you're going to go there and come out being ready to launch your own company, that's never gonna happen. What I recommend for you is get a job at a startup like I did after university. That was my real education. The first time I really learned what it takes to run a business, or what I will have to do if I ever start my own company. University showed me nothing of that. You can only do it by yourself by taking that first and the hardest step, which is taking any idea and trying to execute it. Vividly remember, I even had a Facebook reminder of the post I wrote a year from the day that I decided to be self-employed, and that in that year I learned more than in the previous part of my whole life. It's just when you jump into the deep end, when you take that plunge, when you finally decide to take that risk and that exciting choice, that decision to carve out your own sort of future, you learn so much, and it's so exciting. It's scary as hell, but it's so exciting. You realize, like, oh my God, this is how it really works, you know, and you're doing, and it's infectious. You will never go back once you take that path. I promise you, even if you fail once, twice, 3 times, you will never go back, because it's the most exciting and the most liberating experience. It's taking full control of your life and your kind of destiny and your future, and it's just incredible. So I guess to sum up, ask yourself what it is that you want to get out of university. Do you want to have fun? Because university is a lot of fun. Do you want to kind of have a stepping stone from, you know, living with your parents, being in high school, to living on your own and doing things your own way, taking care of yourself? It's a pretty big step. So ask yourself, do you want to do that? Or are your hopes to actually, you know, get knowledge and experience that will help you start your business? If that's the case, my advice is probably do not go to university unless, like me, you want to have some fun, you want to kind of grow up and take it easy, you know, party, experience new things, and just kind of live your last years of real freedom. Because when you're out of university, life gets pretty tough, let me tell you. When you have to start paying bills and all these little things start adding up that you never had to think about, that's a crazy part in everybody's life. It's when reality like kicks you in the face and you just have to get up and keep going. That's why some people stay at university forever, just studying, because they're afraid of reality. But it's inevitable, and it can be really exciting if you take control of it. So those are the questions that you need to ask yourself. I hope that answers your question. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.